Hey guys, Blue JK here. Just wanted to talk about the upcoming Halloween banner. This is a limited time only, so for you collect them all kind of people, this is going to be very interesting for you. Although a lot of people aren't very happy about the look of the units, but we do have 3 6-star units on this banner. It remains to be seen what the pull rates are going to be like, but and then we have a 5-star max who is Lid. Now, is it worth pulling on the banner? The overall answer is no. But on the flip side, one of the best units on the banner, if not the best unit, is surprisingly going to be Lid, who will be useful at least in the short term. We don't know anything about her future potential, whether she's going to get a 6-star form or not. My guess is that it's very doubtful. But anyway, we'll go into a little more detail as we go. Now, the first unit, the main character, is Demon Rain. And I should clarify, just in case some people are still confused, you do have to pull for these with Lapis or tickets. They are not related, or they're completely separate units from the free ones that we get throughout the story. So Demon Rain, they say his job is Demon Knight, but it's really hard to discern what you're going to use him as. They say that he's supposed to be kind of a tank, but he's actually pretty poor at it. So let's just quickly go through what they give us, and then we'll jump into the wiki. His Trustmaster reward is actually probably the best part about him. It's an attack and defense to plus 20%. Again, these percentage ones are more future-proof because as the base stats go up, these remain very effective, and the resistance will come in handy for certain enemies and bosses. We'll go into the skills in a little bit. He's a base 5-star that goes to 6-star, so if the rates are consistent with previous banners, that means that it's going to be a very low chance to pull them. And the fact that we have 3 of these 5-star base units that go to 6-star, and another base 4-star unit that goes to 6-star, it's going to be very interesting to see what the pull rates are like. Alright, the second unit, the one that probably looks the best and actually doesn't look like an amateur made it in MS Paint, is Dragoon Stats, whose job is a vampire. I didn't know that was a job. But his Trustmaster reward is Vampire Cloak, plus 20 defense, Mag and Spirit plus 30, and enables evade. Now the big question is whether this is in armor or if it's an accessory. If it's an accessory, this is going to be amazing. If it's an armor, still going to be pretty solid, but not kind of this like awesome Trustmaster reward must-have kind of thing. So we'll kind of see what happens. The third unit is White Witch Fina. Now, when this banner first came out, or was announced, this was actually the unit I was most excited about because, it's our first 6-star healer in Global. But, as we'll see in a little bit, she's very underwhelming. She is better than regular Fina, but not as much as you would expect. And finally, we have Black Cat Lid, who is a base 3-star, so she's going to be very easy to pull. They call her a tech mage. I kind of understand why, but you're more likely going to have to build her as a physical damage dealer, and she has some useful support skills as well. So, sorry, I didn't get into Trustmaster reward for White Witch Fina. Blessed Bow, plus 80 attack, 40 spirit, and has Bird Killer and Undead Killer, so it's arguably a little bit better than Rosa's Bow, but maybe not a must-have. I don't think any bow is a must-have, actually. Now, Lid's Trustmaster reward is a hat, 15 defense, mag and spirit plus 20, and MP plus 25, nullify silence. While the stats aren't amazing compared to what we already have in Global, the nullify silence can be very useful. So, we see a lot of these bosses now, especially in the current event, the FF4 event, where they can silence you and do a lot of annoying things so you can't heal and so forth, but having a cat hat would be very good against that. So now let's go into the specific details. Demon Rain, I'll just say it straight up, is going to be a pretty mediocre unit. Um, the base stats look pretty good, 156 attack and 128 magic, but you're really not going to want to build him as a mage. I mean, there's just not the requisite passives and stuff that we need. Actually, the attack's not even that good either. So the 5-star skills here that we have, nothing really stands out to me. They're all kind of just like the standard stuff that we've seen before. Demonic Fury, I think this is a misprint. It should say increase attack by 30% when HP drops below 30%. So kind of like Dark Cecil, I guess. As he gets hurt below a certain threshold, he does become more powerful. And at level 80, at 5-star, he gets double hand, which is a good passive actually. The problem with having a good passive like this is that he doesn't have any natural attack skills to really make use of this. So Evo Mag plus 20%, pretty useless. I mean, how many of us depend on Espers for summon damage? What is it, Cerberus card? I don't know how to pronounce that. The chance to protect party member, I believe, should read 45%, not 15%, and damage mitigation 25%. This is still pretty bad. I mean, compared to Paladin Cecil at 6-star, who has a 75% chance to protect and 50% damage mitigation, you can see that this is pales in comparison to Paladin Cecil. On top of that, his defense is pretty low. He's 116 at 6-star, and he doesn't have passives really to bump that up. And if you're going to make use of double hand, which means that you can only equip one weapon in both of his hands, that means you're not going to have a shield. So his defense is going to suffer more. It's just a very odd way that they designed this character. It's like they kind of just threw random stuff in. They didn't really think about how it synergizes. So it's kind of strange. Ignite could be useful in some cases. It increases attack and magic, kind of like the offensive sides of both Focus and Cheer. But having the Protecka and the Shelga effect is, in my opinion, very useful. So on its own, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like I'd be wanting to use Ignite over Cheer and Focus. It just, I guess for certain people who don't have Focus, for instance, this would be your best way of increasing magic, but I think it's kind of situational. And then level 100 at 6 stars, it just increases his chance of countering. So he's kind of like a Amaranth type of character who doesn't necessarily have the best defense and kind of relies on countering attacks. So now the caveat is that if you have TMs farmed up, you can make him a decent character. Like you could put Barrage on him to make use of the double hand a little better, but I don't really want to rate characters based on having other TMs to put on him, because that would kind of like make almost any character pretty decent. His magic is just, you're never going to use it. His damage is crap with magic. And then his exclusive materia, I guess you could farm this in the upcoming event and make him decent, but again, for a 6-star character, he's a pretty disappointing tank slash damage dealer slash whatever he wants to be. Now, we'll go on to Dragoon Stats. He's actually pretty decent, and you know, if you get him up to 6 stars, he's going to be better than most units in the game right now. Not necessarily future proof because he does drop off compared to quote unquote real 6 stars, but he has decent stats all around. Oh, and he can equip katanas, whereas Rain can't. So some of the best weapons we have in the game right now are katanas and can be equipped by Lazo, but not Rain. At 5 stars, there's really not a whole lot to talk about other than his 2 attack passives, which brings him up to attack plus 30%, which makes him pretty deadly. His bad form decreases likeliness of being targeted, and Mirage also helps him to kind of protect himself. if he's a 6-star unit, I don't really see a whole lot of situations where you would necessarily want him to not be targeted versus like a mage or somebody weaker. I mean, he would be able to survive a little bit better than those squishy characters. So I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of these hiding away type of abilities unless it was on a weak character. Kind of strange for me. Hollow Song, dark physical damage with undead killer to all enemies. This could definitely be pretty useful. If you run up against mobs of undead, which I'm sure we will for the Halloween event. Bloodlust, hybrid damage, which is a bummer. But, if you need to drain some HP in a pinch, wouldn't be too bad. Black Mist, this is kind of a, Dark Cecil type of ability. The sleep, I don't know, situationally useful, I guess. But I don't think it's a great ability. Nightmare Assault, this is probably his best skill. 2.2 physical damage, which isn't a great multiplier, but it also has the effect of decreasing the enemy's attack and defense by 40%, which is a little bit better than Full Break, and it decreases ice resistance by 40% to one enemy. This would definitely help you in the Final Fantasy IV event or upcoming bosses that are weak to ice or whatever, or even if they're not. Because when you decrease the ice resistance, you can, have your mages cast Blizzaga, and it'll do a lot more damage. Kind of like Lightning's Crush. Oh shoot, I forgot what it's called right now, but the one that she has that lowers lightning resistance. Kind of the same idea here. So it is a good skill. It's magic, I would never use that. And again, exclusive material, which would make him even stronger. So his plus 30% attack passive and his Nightmare Assault and some situational stuff makes him a pretty good character. Not amazing, but definitely worthwhile, especially if you have some TMs and stuff to go on him. White Witch Fina. Now, to me, this was the big disappointment of the banner. I never expected Rain to be good, but as the first 6-star healer, I kind of had some high hopes, just in case you get her and you can't get Tillith or something later on, it would be nice, but you'll see why she's such a failure. Now, she does have everything that regular Fina has, for the most part at least. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at 6-star, she does have this really nice passive, Spirit plus 20% and MP plus 10%. And then this is kind of like her new big skill, Ritual, which heals HP 30% and MP 10% to all allies, excluding caster. Now, the reason this skill sucks, in my opinion, is first of all, I would have much preferred to have Kiraja. 30% is not necessarily that impressive, especially for 60 MP cost. Restoring their MP is pretty nice for long fights, I guess, but as a healer, their first priority should be topping off your units. But the part that really sucks is it excludes the caster. So what's the point of healing everybody else when she could easily die? You need to kind of supplement healing her with somebody else, like a Paladin Cecil. If your healer can't stay alive, then it's really going to hurt you in a big fight. So I think this skill could have had some promise if it had just healed everybody across the board. I don't know why they excluded her. It's not like it's OP or anything. So that's a big disappointment. And magic-wise, the big thing to mention, again, she has a lot of the same stuff as her regular Fina form, is that she does get raised, which is becoming more and more important. Even with a good tank, I mean, you'll still get one-shotted sometimes. I will mention that if you don't have another cheer unit, she could actually be decent if you couple her with Paladin Cecil. But what's funny is that he would kind of be her main healer using Kiraja, and she could kind of top off some people, and heal some MP and stuff like that, and do cheer. But as a standalone healer, she is kind of lacking. Now, for the surprise of the banner, Black Cat Lid. I say surprise because, first of all, I've never used regular Lid in the story. I never built her up or anything, so I don't know how good she is. I don't think she is very good. But Black Cat Lid is actually surprisingly good, even as a base 3-star unit. Not that you keep her at 3 stars, but considering how easy she'll be to pull, she's pretty impressive. Now, her attack is 100, which isn't great, but she does have some good passives to help her out. Her main downside, I think, is her lack of equipment selection. She has kind of like every obscure weapon category. You'd probably want to equip her with a killer bow, which is the most easily accessible weapon that she would be able to use. If you're able to farm up a TM for like Mustadio's gun or something like that, actually that would be the best one probably, then she could really become a good character. But as it stands now, killer bow is probably the best bet for most people. Now, the reason she's surprisingly good is, first of all, she does have attack passives, 10% at 3-star, and another 10% here, plus the HP 20%. So she has 20% attack and HP. She has some interesting passives here as well: Undead Killer, Machine Killer, which are a little bit uncommon in the meta right now. So you couple her with maybe a Diablos Esper or just a typical Ifrit, then she would have some decent passives to go along with her plus 20. I think her best skill by far is going to be Ultimate Blow, which is her last skill right here. Now, somebody on Reddit did say that a 2.5 multiplier with ignore defense by 35% equates to about a 3.85 multiplier, which is even better than Barrage. That is offset somewhat by her equipment selection, but it's still pretty impressive. And that's even more important because enemies these days are having really, really high defense, so it's a very good skill. And of course, she has focus. If you don't have a Paladin Cecil for some reason, this is another unit to add that to your party. It's very effective. She also has random status ailment type abilities and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's her passives, focus, and ultimate blow, which are really impressive. And typical limit burst, physical damage, AoE, and of course the exclusive material, which will make her even stronger. So if you don't have a focus unit, or if you don't really have enough barrage units, this is a very good unit, and she's going to be easy to pull. And her trust mastery is pretty decent. So, okay, they don't have text here, but as we saw before, it's a good hat for your mages, resist silence and stuff like that. So I might pull a few times and just hope for her and just play around with her. I think she's a fun unit to have, but not future-proof or anything like that. So all in all, the banner is not anything super impressive, but if you want to do a few pulls, you could do worse. And if you're lucky enough to end up with a Laswell, or a lot of people will get Lid, then I think you'll be kind of happy. So that's my review of the banner. Don't expect anything game-breaking or OP, but for people who just kind of want some limited stuff and some cool new units to play with, and go for it. But I'll be most interested to see what the drop rates are going to be like. My hope and my suspicion is that Rain, Laswell will not be as hard to pull as like a Lightning or something like that, just because they're not as OP, and I think that they would want people to actually want to pull on this banner, but we'll have to see what happens. It's possible that they'll only be 1% or less, but who knows, Scooby can do anything. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. We'll be back for the event that drops tomorrow, and hope you enjoy.